Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today, continue our work on game library, and this is gonna be the first day we're working on the front end, so that's gonna be interesting. Few things that I have to mention. We'll be using NextJS and MaterialUI to build that. And why is that, you may ask? Well, recently I've been surfing across the internet, and of course I came to the Epic Store page, right? And I thought it would be fun if we could try and recreate the Epic Game Store UI and functionalities during this series, especially that as I looked across the classes, the CSS classes used in their design, I saw this particular naming convention where there's a MUI for lots of classes, and that was the hint telling me that they're using MaterialUI, right? And that's what we'll be using. One note, we won't be using the beta version because, well, they're really early in the beta and there are still lots of issues being reported. So we'll be using version 4, I believe that is. And we'll see how we can recreate that wonderful login form on our own. One side note, that won't be, of course, pixel perfect. I couldn't find the font they were using, and maybe will be, a few pixels to the left or to the right, but I guess we can do our best to get that kind of style and that kind of look into our application. So I was wondering whether we should create a separate project for that and keep it separately in the repo, but since I'm posting this as one series on YouTube, what I'm going to do is just create front-end folder in here and work with that. So let's go to the NextJS, and what we have to find is some kind of, well, getting started, TypeScript. Okay, so in my folder where there's an API, I'm going to type npx create next app. I'm just going to call it frontend, and then dash TypeScript. Use the TypeScript. Yeah, we'll use MaterialUI just to do the styling in this part. In the next one, maybe we will actually connect to our own API, and then we'll of course do the registration part. So let's change the folder in the editor here. Okay, and what do we have here? Our pages. Let's just run it. Give me the new terminal. The command to run it, development is npm run dev. Let's see what we get. I'm fairly new to NextJS, and I hope that this series will be, will be something where I can put my skill to the test and maybe learn a little bit. It is running on port 3000. Can we change it to run on something else? Let's see. Yeah, okay. So going to this port, yeah, we have, okay, this is server-side rendered, which is main reason to use Next.js. Get started by the team pages index.js. Okay, We'll leave index basically as is. Well, not really, we'll have to change it later, but I'm gonna get rid of everything. Let's say home here to make sure it's working. It is working. Okay, so first thing, we have to add MaterialUI, and this is gonna be a little bit tricky. So let's start from the top. How does the routing and creation of pages in NextJS works is kind of different than create React app. You see, NextJS has built-in routing solution, and basically every single thing that goes into pages is considered to be page that user can route to, and the name of that page is the URL to which you navigate. So if I'm going, if I'll create login TSX here, and let me just change it to uppercase. So now this is going to be an URL to which you can navigate to. Right? Makes sense. Okay, you create a page, you can navigate to it. Okay. So first thing I'd like to do is to actually, where is it? Create something in login, and I will have to install, just split it, MaterialUI core. It's going to be MaterialUI core. Okay, and if you don't know MaterialUI, it is a very popular UI library for React that has components that are in kind of material design style, right? Like, for example, if you take a look at the, I don't know, button or text field, you can see it. It has this nice Google material design style. So, and since Epic is using that, we're gonna go with that. So, first, if we want some kind of wrapper, we can use container here, and we can import that. And soon, as you will see, we'll run into first issues. First issue is gonna be, okay, this is working, the styling. So NextJS is server-side rendered, but React and styles for it are client-side rendered. And while using MaterialUI and other libraries like side components, there's gonna be some kind of mismatch between styles in on server, generated on server, and the styles on browser in the client. Because every time you're using hot module replacement in hot reload, the server is generating new set of styles and sending it to the client. And what the client is trying to do is just to find out the difference between the styles already in client and the new ones coming from the server. And in case of using MaterialUI, there's going to be a bug where the client can't quite find the right difference and apply the style to our page. So let me just show you. Let's create hook for the styles, and this is going to be make styles login container. We're going to give it background for that. That's okay. Not a problem. This is make styles. It is coming from Material UI core styles. Okay. Now background color. It should be 1212. I just read these values from the Epic Store page. For now, we will set the width and height like this, meaning basically full page. Okay, and then if we want to use that, you just apply it as a class name, classes login container. Okay, everything seems to be compiling, so let's see what is happening here. Well, as you can see, okay, we need some kind of children here, so let's do this for now. That should refresh. Okay, now you see it. Well, even though the down structure is right, because we can see the A is D on our screen, there's an error here. Ramp it up. Class name did not match. Server has this set of styles, while client has this one. And as you can see, the change, the difference is basically in the number right here. And we have to do some magic and fixes to actually make that work. So what we can do is search for NextJS TypeScript MaterialUI, and that's gonna point us to the documentation of MaterialUI with the server rendering. And here at the bottom, you will see the setup for NextJS, and there is NextJS with TypeScript setup. What we need are 3 files from here. It's gonna be the app, which will override. Then there's gonna be a document, which we have to create and override. Here, underscore document.tsx. And then we'll create new folder here, call it common. We're gonna put new file here called theme ts, and for the start, I'm gonna go here and just copy that. Okay, this is living in common theme, and this is living in common theme. Now, you might think that should work, but actually in the latest version, I believe version 11 of Next.js, yeah, you have to some additional magic, and this is setting, sorry, React strict mode to false. Okay, and with that done, should we restart? Sorry. It's so unbelievably hot right now in Poland. Can't even imagine. Okay, let's see. And now it works as supposed to, and our styles are applied. Okay, so basically that's the setup done. Let's move on. I'm gonna create new folder here, and I'm gonna call it actually I'm gonna create src folder here. I'm gonna move whoops, not here, yeah, move it. I'm gonna throw everything here. We need to we need to update that, of course. And now in src we're gonna create new folder. I'm gonna call it auth for authorization, because we're doing login page. Basically we're doing login form. Then I'm gonna do login. I'm just trying to, structure the folders correctly with some common sense. And here we'll create login form component. Okay, or maybe even login.form tsx. Okay, and here's where the bulk of our work today will go. So let's just generate some code for the start. We have to fix the naming, of course. This is login form. Okay, and this is login form. Good. So now, the styling. There are many ways to approach that. We have the default components from MaterialUI, but of course we have to style them to match our needs. You can do stuff like creating some theme variables. You can do some stuff like overrides and creating local styles. We will do with local styles for now. Maybe we'll add a little bit of overriding of the default styles. And then I believe we'll try to extract the common stylings somewhere, maybe to override as our application will grow. So since the styles themselves aren't so important to what we're doing, I tend to move them out to the separate file or just create them below the component definition. So we'll just use styles, make styles. This should, again, I believe, come from core styles. I believe there's a different, I just can't remember what that is. Okay, and let's take a look at what we're working here. Obviously we have some wrapper. We have icon, text input with an icon checkbox, and a button that you cannot click right now. This is probably due to the fact that email address and password aren't supplied. Yeah, some links too. Okay, let's get to work. Okay, first we will create a box, and box, you can think of it as a div. It is coming with few additional cool things that you can apply to it. For example, you don't have, well, we need some size for it, but you can set display flex as an attribute, and also justify content, and so on and so forth. But because we'll need more styles than that, I'm going to just create a class here. And this is going to be, well, we have to limit the width. And here pixels are, well, these values are all strings. We have to change the display to be flex. Align items center. Justify content also center. Okay. Going back to Epic Games, I can see it having some kind of margin, right? And then also there's a padding inside. Okay, so let's try that. Margin is 32 pixels. Background color is 202020. Padding 50 pixels top, 60 pixels from the sides. And flex direction, we have to change the flow to be of column. And then what we do here is just get the classes with use styles. Can get rid of that and just say class name equal to classes container. That's the first thing. Let's see. There's the problem that we have with an icon. I would love to use the very same that Epic Store has. And if I really look into it, we can, because this is SVG and we can just copy it. So let's create new folder here. New folder, come on. And I'm gonna call it assets. And inside of it, let's create new folder, call it icons, because probably there will be some kind of images or stuff like that. Okay. And then inside of it, folder in a folder in a folder, we create SVG. Okay, and in here, I'm gonna create new file and call it logo dash icon SVG. Okay, then there's a matter of just, we can edit all that as HTML, then you can copy it, slap it right here. Now, we have the icon, but it would be actually great to use it as a component, right? And there are many approaches to that problem. One solution I have found to be very neat is to use SVGR library, which you can find, SVGR. Transform SVGs into React components. Working great, never let me down. So let's npm install dev svg at svgr CLI. So usage of the dev option is deprecated. Okay, didn't know that. SGVR. Now should be correct. So basically, what that library will do for us is it will take all of the SVGs from a given path and generate React components for us to use. So let's go to package.json and let's just add a script svg, then svgr we have to specify where to put our generated components and where our library should search for SVGs. Okay, so that looks correct, but let's run it. npm run svg. And as you can see here, we can find not only our SVG changed to nice component, but also index for the whole folder we're working with. So going back here, what I can do now is just simply import that. So that's gonna be import from assets, come on, assets icons, and this is logo icon that I want to import. You can just slap it in here, and let's see what we got. Well, nothing really. Oh yeah, because silly me, we have to actually render it here, right? So get rid of this and let's render loading form. Okay, a little too big, as you can see, and it's not white inside. You can fix this. So I'm gonna say, let's create another style here. Gonna be logo. The color should be white. That's one thing. And it has to be a string. Then there's a matter of size, so I'm gonna set width to 50, height to 50, or maybe let's do 48, because always better to use the dividers and the number that you can divide by 4. And margin bottom is 30 pixels. And let's apply this. So class name, classes, logo. Even though the logo icon is generated as JS file, it should be fine to use it in TypeScript. Also, I'm gonna create new branch here for the repository, part 5 login form UI. Okay. Oh, it's looking nice. One thing I can see is that something is wrong. What is that? Should be full width. So let's see. CSS baseline is applied. Should reset the CSS. Yeah, I know that it's elegant, consistent, and simple. This is looking good. Should we? No, it shouldn't matter really. This container. Let's see. This has a padding. what if we change it to a box? Which doesn't matter. But this white offset at the top. Wait, there's a margin. Oh. Okay. But why? Let's see. One thing I could do here is display flags and align items center, and yeah, that's what we're missing. Okay. So, and yeah, that one. Display flags, justify content center, line items center. Okay, now it makes sense. Moving on. Login form, we have a logo done. Next is the information that you should sign in with an Epic Games account. So let's handle that. That's gonna be typography. Variant is subtitle 2. And we'll add the class name of classes sign in. And this is going to be a little bit of modification. Sign in information is gonna be text align set to left, margin top 20 pixels, with 100%. Get rid of that. Okay. So this, oh, hello, sir. Oh, I didn't write anything. What was the text? Sign in with an Epic Games account. Sign in with an Epic Games account. And we should do text transform. This should be capitalized. The color is wrong. So let's do color white. Okay. It looks okay-ish. We'll fix the width in just a moment, I believe. So now for the crucial part, we need our form, right? So let's add styles for that. form will have max width of 380 pixels, width of 100%, and margin top 20 pixels. And we have to add wrapper for it. Class name will be classes form, I believe. Okay, and now time for the most important part, me adding two text fields. Let's add one, second one, and this is how this looks now. Not really impressive, but we have to do some work to make it look like this. Okay, so first things first, the variant should be outlined. Okay, then we have to add labels. Label, this is mail, I believe, and label this as password. Email address. Okay. Okay, and now we have to style the color. So one approach to styling in MaterialUI is to use classes, but also class names, sorry, but also there are classes as a property. And here you can pass an object that will override some styles given component. And there are many classes. It depends on the component. For the text field, we're only interested in root. So let's go and create text field root styles here. There's height of 88 pixels. Let's see what happens if we set simply the color to be white. And I can apply it here with classes text field root. Okay, so the height changed, but the color not so much. And this is because the text field in MaterialUI is a rather complicated being, as you can tell. It has a label, there it has input base, then there's input itself and field set. And all of those, as you can see, have different classes that we can override or change. Okay, so what I wanted to do is to override, well, basically whole styling that we need. So what we need is to override input base root and set it with a right color, and this is RGBA 255.255.72 as a color. And let's see what happens now. You can see that the color for the one text field that we applied our setting to, now the color of the font is correct. And we can go further with that. We need to change the label. So I believe this is and label. So we need to change the border color here. to be the same, and color to be the same. Let's see how that looks now. Okay, now you can see that the label has correct color except for the time it's focused. And I can see now that we're repeating this a lot. So maybe let's go to our theme. Let's see, can we change this? Will it help somehow? Oh, this is because we're not using that. Let's say palette text field main, and let's set our color here. Is not okay. I got you. So let's say colors. I don't really know how to use the palette, so let's do this. Colors is not assignable. Okay. Well, what can we do then? Styles, customization, theming. Okay. Theme provider, palette. Warning, info success. Providing the colors directly. Okay, adding new colors as follows. Palette neutral main. You would also have to do module augmentation to accept the above values. Okay. That's a little bit too much, but we can do that. I think. Or maybe, let's see. Okay, this is set as secondary main. Can you do this as secondary light? Okay. Okay, we have to have a main, but we can give it a light. Let's copy this value. We'll change the main when needed. And then in login form, we can use, I believe that's the syntax. It's going to be now a function. Here. Nope. Like that. This should have the proper value. It has, okay. And now you can just do stuff like theme, palette. Oh, okay. There are a few. We could go with info, but secondary, let's do that for now, light. Okay, and this should be our way to customize the colors via theme. And let's hope that does not crash and burn. Still working. Okay, Good. Next thing we have to change is the color of the focused label. So this is going to be movie form label root with MUI focused right. And we're changing the color here too. Okay, now it's way easier. Okay, and then we have to change the outline. And I believe this is MUI outlined input root. And we have to change the color on, well, basically for everything, for field set, then for when it's focused, because this also needs override for hover, that's another one, and then for focus. So this is going to be MUI focused field set, and basically we do border here, here, and here. And now this is looking good. So we can apply the same styling here. Classes, root, classes, text field root. Then we'll do full width, set to true. Okay. Now it kind of looks good. Can we somehow format this? Okay, it's good. Next thing we need is to set the type to password here. And I'd like to disable the autocomplete. And let's see. Okay, nothing here really. Good. Type is password. This is good. I would like to add that cool functionality where you can click on the show icon and change it. So let's see. As this is done very easily, the type is set to text. If you click it, the type is changed to password. Okay. So let's start by adding the eye icon. This is input props value, and here you can provide an adornment and set it to be input and adornment. Then here you can provide icon button, and here you have to provide icon. So let's add icons. npm install MaterialUI icons. It's so incredibly hot. Can't imagine it. Okay. So we have to specify the position here. We want this at the end. Then the icon itself. Well, we'll maintain something. It's a little bit of a state in that episode, and this is going to be visibility or visibility off. So that's cool. Should show password. Of course, this is a part of the state. So should show password, and set should show password. We're gonna use state of with false as initial value, and then on click we'll just set should show password, and we will negate the previous value. And that should change the type right here based on the value. Has any, this is Boolean, of course. And you import it from React. And that should cover all the errors. Let's see. And it does not work. Well, one thing I can see that the icon has a wrong color, but this can be fixed rather easily. This is going to be one style we have to add. Movie icon button root. It's theme palette secondary light. Okay. Now it's working, but it doesn't change anything. This should be on click. Right, let's debug this real quick. Handle toggle visibility. Let's use that. Compiled successfully. Doesn't change. Check the component, login for state is false. Oh, I know. I did double negation. Of course I did. Yep. Okay, now it's cool. Nice. So we have that done. Nothing more to do here than just to go to the bottom part where we have checkbox and links and buttons and stuff like that. So before we close the form, because it's all a part of the form, let's do a box. We don't need any kind of styles here, so we can just do the flex inline. Just define content is space between, and align items is set to center. Then we need a checkbox, so it's going to be form control label. with the label remember me, with the classes that we're gonna create soon, and this is gonna be root override again, classes checkbox root, and here we're just gonna pass the controller, well, the element of the UI that you'd like to control with the label form. It's gonna be checkbox, just checkbox. So for the checkbox root, we will have to create checkbox root class, change the color to theme palette secondary light. Also, we have to override one class. Because we're starting both the form and the checkbox. Theme palette secondary light. Come on. Okay, not bad. There's a little bit of space here. We'll see into that in just a minute. Then there's a link next to it, right? So here we have the link. Use the class name to style it. Oh, we have to import it. This is classes link. We'll create that in a second. Typography. Forgot your password. And variant is body. Body 1. Okay. We have to change it a little bit. So let's add the link styles here. And this is going to be, we'll display flex, of course, just to center the stuff. Align items center, justify content center, color is white, void, align, okay, it's good. Then text decoration is underline, cursor needs to be pointer, and hover. On hover will hide the underline. Text decoration will be none. Okay, let's see how that looks. Okay, kind of nice. What is that nice thing here? It looks like we have some margin here. Margin left, let's do 8 pixels. Yeah. Also, I can see this is out of line. Margin left. Change this to -5 probably. Okay, so checkbox root. -5 pixels. Okay, that's better. Then let's grab that class. Because yeah, let's grab that class. We'll add the margin left here. So margin left 8 pixels. Okay, that's looking better. Next is the button. It's gonna be cool. I can see it has some kind of, oh, sorry, margin at the top. Yeah, it has a wrapper. So going again to the bottom, button. Let's add button wrapper with, we'll max it out. We'll set max width 2. Then there's margin top 30 pixels. Okay, that'll do. And then for the button itself, do min height of 60 pixels. Then there's color of the text, which should be white. Background color, which should be copied from their site, which is 0074E4. Okay, and then there's hover effect for the button. Background color RGB 40138 232. Okay. Double. Okay. This should do. And now let's simply add the button, right? So you can use simple div as a wrapper. We could do the box. So it's gonna be class name classes button wrapper. Good. And then here we have a button which is full width, true, variant contain, because there are different buttons in MaterialUI, class name classes button, we're over an hour again. I really wanted that one to be shorter, but okay, cool. And now what is left is to do privacy policy and these two links. But this one also has some kind of wrapper around it. Okay, so going to the bottom to add more styles. So this is gonna be privacy wrapper, and this has margin top, let's say 32, because always, or 36, we can always do with the number that is divisible by 4. Then there's width of 100%. Here, text align should do. Okay. So now below that wrapper, we can add box. Class name is classes privacy wrapper. That's a link. So we need a class name of classes link. Yeah. And typography variant is equal to body 1. Privacy policy. This is that and that. I believe this has font size of 1 rem and this is body 1. And theirs is 0.875. So what we can do is go to our theme and find overrides, and here we can by default override some stuff. So for typography, okay, and we have to find body 1, and here we can change the font size all over the app when using that class or that that variant, and we can change the color to be RGBA. Well, no, we'll leave this as it is for now. Okay, now it's smaller. Great. Then there's a sign up and sign up and another sign up. Okay. Let me do a short pause here. Pause. I had an appointment with my physiotherapist. That happens when you spend a lot of time sitting next to a computer. So remember to stretch. What we have to do to finish is to add these two links. That shouldn't be too hard, right? So that's our privacy. Okay. Next is the sign up wrapper that we need to add. So let's add that. And this is gonna be, well, pretty much more of the same. So let's display flex, then justify content center, align items center, and margin top 20 pixels. Sounds good. Also, let's add the last part that we need. This is all options, meaning that part that will direct us back to all sign up options. I don't know whether we'll actually implement that screen, but just to make the form complete, let's do this. This has 100% width, align item center, justify content center, margin top 4, and of course we have to add display flex to use align items and justify content. Then going back to JSX itself, let's add a box and set the class to be classes sign of wrapper. Here we have a typography, which is of variant body1. Okay. Don't have an Epic Games account, question mark. Then we just do link and close the link, please. Typography variant body1, because that's much the same, and sign up. Okay. That doesn't look too good. Need to add the class name, classes link. Okay. Better. The problem now is that, well, there are two issues here. I would like to add a space between those two, and we can do this with use of a special symbol, and this is ampersand NBSP semicolon. Now the space is in place. Yo, website is the best. The problem though is the color of our typography, and we can do this by, it should be gray, right? So let's go to the theme in our overrides. Let's do color. Let's copy that. But now the color of the links should be white, right? So we can provide another override for movie link this time. We can find root class, as you can find on most of the components from MaterialUI, and here on the root, on the link component, we can search for typography and override it with color white. So basically what we're doing, we're customizing the typography for body1 for basically every case, except we then override it when the typography is used within a link component, meaning this typography is being used in a link as a child of a link component, so it will be white, and then this outside of the link component will be grayish, and that should work. Yeah, except for the fact that that's the correct name. Now it's looking good. Okay, and then there's back to all sign up options, and this is gonna be pretty much the same. So we're going to do box, gonna add class name, classes all options wrapper, typography, and this is variant of body 1, back to also space here, so this is ampersand and BSP, and then link and here it states, okay, all sign up options, all sign up options. Okay, so let's see this side by side. I'm gonna say we did pretty good job. There's one thing missing though, and I believe, no, okay. Well, yeah, as you can tell, this is capitalized and that's uppercase, I believe. So that's one change we have to introduce. Let's see, uppercase. Now, one difference is, of course, with the font. As you can tell, if you tag the original Epic Store, you can see that the font family is brutal. Brutal. Question is where we can find it. Brutal type. Is that it? Yeah, and I'm not paying that. No way. Let's see. Brutal alternative. Font similar to brutal. Okay. Well, we could go with Campton or something like that, but sticking to the Roboto is also fine. Bye. Extra light is for free. Okay, cool. Yeah, but basically that's it. In the next episode, I suppose I will handle the registration form. So that one, it's pretty similar. That one might be interesting to do, right? Then the next step will be connecting these two to our API, but we'll do that, well, when we get there. So again, thank you very much. If you like this kind of tutorial where we're trying to recreate some kind of famous UI or app, I'm thinking about expanding this series as much as possible, and then maybe we'll do TikTok. We'll see. It's rather popular. So yeah, thank you, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.